Did you know that student loan debt among current and former students in the United States is over $1.7 trillion in 2021? My purpose today is to persuade you to support abolishing student loans and student loan debt. As a college student myself, I constantly worry about the expenses of college that I face. I have to keep track of my spending all the time, as tuition, even for the community college that I'm attending, takes up most of my annual income. Many of you may know someone who is either in college, planning on attending college in the future, or are already struggling with the negative effects of student loan debt. I see the other side and why people support student loans, but I believe that we can create a better America by abolishing them and urging the government to fund student loan forgiveness programs. With that in mind, I will begin by discussing the problem. Then I will examine the causes and conclude by offering a solution. With our roadmap in place, let's begin with the problem. So the problem is that some people do not support abolishing student loans. For example, not many people actually have student loans to deal with. Now, according to Zach Friedman, a Harvard graduate who is now a personal finance writer, approximately 150 million out of 200 million US adults do not actually own any student loans. Therefore, many people do not believe that there is a need for a solution to this really giant problem. Another example is that many people believe that student loan forgiveness is unfair. According to Friedman, personal opinion and experiences may lead someone to argue against the fairness of the fundamentals of forgiving student loans. Essentially, what that means is many people's viewpoint is, if I have to pay off my loans, then you should too. So now that we have an understanding of the problem, let's examine some of the causes. So there are two primary reasons as to why people do not support abolishing student loans. The first obvious reason is due to college tuition inflation. Now, according to Brianna Boynton, who holds a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Maryland, College Park, private national university rates have inflated by over 144% over the past 20 years, with in-state and public university tuition rates inflating by over 212%. As you can see from this visual, the blue describes the steady increase in loan debt over the past 13 years, with the red line showing the increase in recipients of student loans over the same time frame. However, if post-high school education was either free or cheaper, then the need for student loans would be next to nothing. According to Freeman, the College for All program guarantees families earning under $125,000 per year to be tuition and debt-free. It also guarantees tuition-free college for all guarantees tuition-free community college for all students. All right. The second reason is that tuition-free college may provide a substantial amount of government funding. Now, according to Caitlin Mueller, a graduate of the Florida School of Journalism, the plan for free tuition may cause the government to enforce federal and state taxes that rise upwards of $371.4 million over a 10-year span, which would be about $37.14 billion annually. However, there would be no need for the government to fund the current loan forgiveness, the loan programs that they are currently funding right now with free college. Now, according to David Deming, who is the director of the Malcolm Weiner Center at the Harvard Kennedy School, federal funding for these forgiveness programs would essentially be eradicated from the current $37 billion that the government is currently spending for tax credits and benefits. So now that we have an understanding of the problem and some of its causes, let's focus on the solution. Now, the solution to this problem is, which is to provide student loan forgiveness to current and former students while lowering tuition rates, offers two important benefits. The first benefit is that it could potentially increase college enrollment rates. Now, according to Morley Winograd, who is a senior fellow at the University of Southern California Center on Communication, Leadership, and Policy, the TN Promise in Tennessee increased community college enrollment rates by 24.7%, which is roughly 4,000 new enrollees during its first year in act. The second benefit is that it would greatly benefit the American economy. Now, according to Winograd, although tuition-free four-year college would potentially cost taxpayers up to $79 billion, the government already spends $91 billion on policies that actually subsidize college attendance. So not only would this be helping decreasing government spending, it would also be putting American tax dollars to good use. Though student loan debt not only hurts the financial state of current and former students, but it has also taken a massive bite out of the American economy. Let's review what we've learned today. First, we learned that the problem is that many people do not support abolishing student loans. Many Americans do not actually have any student loans, and people who have already paid off their debt believe that it is unfair for others to get forgiven. Next, we learned two reasons as to why people do not support abolishing student loans. The current rise in tuition has scared many potential enrollees to apply for student loans. But however, we know that with free college or free or cheaper college, the need for loans would be next to none. We also broke down the people's concern that free tuition for all students would have on the American government. However, we also know that there is no point in funding loan programs with the need for student loans being greatly subsidized. But at the end of the day, student loans are here to provide opportunities for students to earn their degree. However, with financial struggles arising quite easily from student loans, maybe it's time to consider a new beginning for America with the rise in free college. You know, as a college student myself, I see the time and effort that students put in outside of the classroom so they can afford that last textbook or that last class that they may need. With the risk of our future generations and future economy at stake, an end to the student loan debt crisis would greatly benefit every single American citizen. Thank you.